hidden agendas, cover-ups that stretch back decades. Join us as we follow the clues and dig deeper than ever before. This is Down the Rabbit Hole podcast, where conspiracy theories come to life. Tune in if you dare. Visit rabbitholepodcast.com and subscribe on YouTube for free today.
Tonight, we visit the World Center of Racing as a start of a new season begins tonight. Welcome to the Growmasters Average Joe Sim Racing League here on Green Flag TV for tonight's season opener for its second campaign ever here from Daytona Beach, Florida. Justin Prince with you, Derek Watson alongside Dustin Owens, our producer this evening here from Daytona International Speedway as we get ready to go full throttle super speedway racing for 70 laps. A brand new season starts now, Derek, as these drivers look to see who's going to be the best of the best, a part of the campaign that runs all the way through the February.
Yeah, look at this schedule upcoming. We're starting here at Daytona, where it feels like every league starts a season. Moving to Iowa, then Homestead's been moved to the third race. Originally, we thought we were going to start the season there, JP, and we got word last minute that's been moved ahead a couple weeks. Dover, Kansas, Texas. So if you're a fan of the mile-and-a-half tracks, there's a couple here in the opening of 3 out of 4 weeks. You'll get a good run there. So here at Daytona, again, it's where every league wants to start, JP. It's the beginning of a new season, the beginning of a lot of new things we'll talk about tonight. New car, new season, new commentator, and yourself in the booth. Lots of new things to happen in Season 2 here for Average Joes.
Going to make things all the more interesting when it comes to the racing tonight, absolutely. Remember, these drivers will have about 50% of the fuel tanks. 48 is the set tonight. 50% is the benchmark expected throughout the campaign. So expect a lot of potential pit stops in the course of those shorter race distances also. But all these competitors also are getting set to see a new sponsor jump on board. Again, Average Joe's is pleased to announce the return of Growmasters as their Season 2 sponsor and have their continued support, as it's been graciously appreciated. Through many years of both hunting and raising deer, the folks at Growmasters have determined the best way to attract deer is with scents that they can't resist to keep them at your mineral sites. So they formulated a great flavored deer will love. This gives them time to get the vitamins and minerals they need. Growmasters also has meaning to it. Their product is the leader in the use of an all-natural organic dewormer. As much as they love to hunt, they also love to see their local herds strong, healthy, and growing big. It is their mission to help you do the same. Mention Average Joe Sim Racing League when placing an order for 2 to 40-pound buckets, and you can receive a free hat. Happy scouting and happy hunting for the team at Herd Health Wildlife Products and the Growmasters brand. All that being said here tonight, Derek, drivers in the midst of qualifying, they only have 2 minutes to set the fastest times left on the board. 35 trucks have visited the circuit here tonight. It should be fun.
It really should be fun, JP, and welcome in here to the nighttime of Daytona. Riding on board Willie Smith. Willie's back for Season 2, as are a bunch of our drivers. One of our changes, by the way, is the car we're running. Last season we ran in the, the NASCAR Next Gen or the NASCAR Gen 7 car. Take your pick on a naming scheme there. This season, we've moved to the trucks. A community vote on the league has led us over to running with the trucks here, and that's going to be what we're going to be at here as we're watching Willie Smith get on around the course. A 5-minute qualifying session is coming on around, and we'll wait and see if we can get some refresh paints for some of these trucks in a moment here, JP. But, well, Willie Smith running a good job around the bottom. I have to think this is going to count for time here because he's making that good qualifying run across the bottom of the track, sticking it basically to the yellow line around the track, around the line. Let's see where Willie Smith lines up as he comes up on the board.
Top of the board.
Top of the board. Look at that. You're right.
Nicely done by Willie Smith, putting up a 51.7 to set the pole time. Kepler drivers left to set times. That includes the 87 machine. Brian Cook, one of the last drivers to be able to set a time. In fact, he's the only driver not on their second lap currently. At the bottom of the board, mind you, will put you around the 51.9s currently. So expect Brian Cook for now to be a decent spot. He's only a 10th off the pole time. That's with him. It looks like around to the bottom. It looks like he's going to run out of time, as you said.
Sorry to cut you off there. There's Ryan McClurg. Ryan here running in at 43. Truck is a Dr. Pepper theme scheme, if I recall correctly. We'll see what Ryan can do in the second time here. 51.799. Here's Akari King Wright. Akari has had a strong run towards the end of the season. See there in the red, white, and blue truck having a good run here. What is he going to get out of it? 51.804 is his top time. Puts him 5th on the board.
So, good qualifying session for the drivers tonight. Mind you, Brian Cook, we were just talking about him seconds ago in qualifying, was the driver who picked up the practice race victory. Being yesterday, that was with him sideways. But Willie Smith will start on the pole for this race here tonight. It will be Kevin Burns next to him on the front row. Row 2, Ryan McClurg will start alongside Michael Weaver if he drive one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed trucks. Akari Kane Wright and Stephen Blevins will start in 6. Blevins right in front of Tanner McAllister, and Austin Guerrero is a part of the top 8 tonight. Rounding your top 10, Corey Moore and Michael Harrington starts 10th. It is only 47 with thousands off the pole.
Yeah, moving back now to half a thousandth off the pole is John Sheen in that one truck. Next to 18 of Brad Lawrence. Moving back here into P13, we would find Terrence Murphy in the 5. He's next to Brian Cook in the 87. Going back into P15, that's where you will find our next trucks, and Dan Adams and Nolan McClurg in the 16. P17 is Kean Fry, and he is next to Doug Ivey. That's 17th and 18th. Back into P19, still not even a 10th of a second off the pole, JP. Justin McCurdy in P19 and Justin Day in P20.
First goes to Fred Chase. Brad G will start in 22nd. 23rd goes to Jonathan Dominics, one of the Canadians in the field. Frank Chavez. You see run a few different series in the field tonight. Robert Sheen starts 25th with Liam Ray down in 26th. Still within the 10th, mind you, of the pole. That's how close it was. Josh Rebel and Jason Rushing. He's one of the drivers you see a fair bit in regular racing, 28th. Jonathan Day, 29th, and Robert Tester is amongst those, a 10th back in 30th. The rest of the field comes on through. That includes Jeffrey Petty, Brian Matthews, with the M included in 32nd. Blake Hewitt, along with Brian Day, back at 34th. And rounding out your grid, Wayne Graves and Dallas Hall are your 36. That's what talked about with the right. We're here tonight, here for Average Joes, as they kick things off for a brand new season. As said, this season will bring drivers to 16 different racetracks. A part of this campaign is one of a couple super speedways on the schedule. But again, your distance tonight, Derek, 70 laps, 48% fuel. So that means, in theory, we may see pit stops actually with these trucks pretty frequently, because the normal run is up to 30 laps. We may see stops every 14 to 15 laps based on the numbers here.
Yeah, this will get interesting, right, to see who can sit in the draft, who can be patient, and patience will be one of your keys to victory all night long, not just in the fuel saving, but maybe in sitting back and trying to maybe avoid the big one if or when that happens. But you're right, lots of pit stops likely here at the newly refreshed, re-imaged Daytona International Speedway here on iRacing. You see all the grass finally gone from the back straight. A sad moment for some of us longtime NASCAR fans to see all this grass turned into pavement. But on the track here, lots of drivers. Smith, Burns, McClurg, Weaver, King Wright, and more in your top 5 ready to get started.
Who do you think is going to come away with the win tonight? I know it's a bit of a lottery with the brand new season.
Oh boy.
Who do you think is going to actually come away with the win?
It really is. I mean, last time I went to Talladega in the offseason, we saw the McClurgs try and make a run together. That's father-son. I think they have a good shot at it. Akari King Wright is a name to look out for. So we'll wait and see who really does show up here. It's hard to say right now, so we'll wait and see. Those Queen City, the Ninja Turtle trucks, they love to work together, so teammates could matter here this evening.
Happy to have you with us here on Green Flag TV. It's the start of a new season. Grow Masters involved with AJSRL competition. Green Flag is out. We're underway for the World Center of Racing. First lap coming to a close here as we come down the front straightaway. Already 2 wide still. One of the Lake Effect Motorsports trucks, Kevin Burns, on the outside. Did not get the lead lap. Willie Smith did in a drag race. But all of this is now with the matter of teamwork. Going to be interesting. Nearly 3 wide as some of those Queen City trucks thought about taking it 3 wide out of the corner.
I'm not sure if they thought about going 3 wide, JP, or if that truck up front in the high lane just thought about maybe was moving too much and almost put himself in a bad situation here. But up front here right now, it has Kevin Burns up top, and I thought he was going to put himself 3 wide. See, behind him is Michelangelo and Raphael, those Ninja Turtle trucks from Queen City. They're lined up and ready to go, so we'll see when they're ready to make a move. But we come around for a second time here, and so far all is good and calm at Daytona.
Give it a moment and things can get very wild, very fast. A lot of trucks are having a hard time holding a line. But remember, this series, we touched upon this during the off-season race, does have a cap on I rating. So for many of these drivers, they are either newer to the service or those that are just out here to have a good time, who do not care about the I rating. They care about just having a good group of friends as soon as they get to the 1500 on iRacing and jump into the group, which has happened in a couple cases. But the thing is, teamwork is going to be one of the potential possibilities to come up tonight because you have a grand total of about 7-8 teams in the group. And as you see in the back, some people are losing the pack already.
That was a car sideways, or excuse me, a truck sideways. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw that white truck. Well, that's Jeffrey Petty. I'm positive he was sideways in that corner. So he obviously got that saved and we stay Green Flag Racing, but we'll wait and see maybe what caused that moment as we get through the laps here, and everything's still 2 wide, fairly calm. And I use patience as a word, JP, and I'm impressed by the patience of the field so far. Right now, everything kind of calm. Everyone's kind of riding along. I don't know if maybe those smaller fuel cells are causing, but look at that push on the bottom. They're starting to lose their patience because that was McClurg. He was pushing the leader, the leader of the bottom lane, Willie Smith, but then McClurg was obviously getting pushed by the truck on behind. So maybe patience is already wearing off.
By the way, the reason you've seen this person sideways, you were mentioning someone sideways. Rebel had gotten into a checkup to avoid contact in front. No checkup, in fact, for Jonathan Day. This one around the racetrack collected the number Dustin Hall machine, who got into Petty, who all stacked things up at the back of the field. Watch this. You see Hall with the contact, and this is lucky not to be a caution flag. Quite simply, that Michigan Wolverines truck did not see the checkup coming, and that has seen half the field, at least a third of it, lose the pack already.
And that may be okay, weird as that sounds, right? If you have no damage and you're behind the pack, that may be okay for now. You have plenty of time to catch up here, but let's see what's going to happen. There's been another bit of contact on the track. Watch this one here, JP, towards the middle of your screen in that top window. They're going to be 3 wide for a moment. Ooh, a truck got sideways, and again, for the second time, we avoid a caution. That was Blake Hewlett, by the way, who got sideways that time. So now I don't necessarily mind falling back. And you and I have raced together at Super Speedways. You know I like to fall back. I like to kind of be the back of the pack. I'll wait it out. I know there's some pit stops coming. There's likely a caution coming. Why not be in the back? Why not be outside the calamity and then worry about being involved in a ruckus later?
There's also the counterpoint that I usually make, at least, though, as you know, too, though, of, in my experience, if you're not higher than 4th, you're likely going to crash.
Yep.
So quite simply, being up in the top 3 is comfortable, especially on the super speedway for some.
No, I agree. If I'm McClurg, if I'm Burns, if I'm Smith, I feel comfortable up in the front. Where I wouldn't feel comfortable is, say, like, P10, right? Michael Harrington, Terrence Murphy, Corey Moore, John Sheen, that middle of the pack, that likely epicenter of whatever, could go wrong right there in the middle of the field. That's where I don't want to be. I want to be in the front, or I want to be in the back.
Some concerns, though, if you're up at the front of the field, noticing Ryan McClurg, who has been pushing Willie Smith for the past little while. He's the one in right now bottom row, second in that line. Nearly got into the 93 last time by, and the 2s right where left for fenders has been swaying along down the straightaway. And it's so important to keep a good hold of the wheel. There it is again. Bit of a sway in the corner, just a little bit too much turn in. And remember, depending on the situation with the setup of your truck, it's quite simply, can you get your steering offset set the right way? You need to have it set the way that keeps you stable here. Where would you talk about that on your mindset? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, believe that 43 is one of your drivers that you could talk about that steering offset.
Yeah, Ryan McClurg is part of a Tabula Rasa Esports, and so it could, the other possibility besides the steering offset, although you're not wrong, it could be a force feedback problem, right? You and I have talked many times across different leagues about force feedback and how some drivers have it set too strong, right? Almost to the point where the force feedback is driving the car and not the driver. And sometimes when your force feedback is set too strong, when you come up out of a corner and you kind of do that transitional banking out or in or any which way, that snap of the wheel kind of drives the car a little bit here. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's just creeping up a little bit here. And, doing okay so far. I understand the concern about the sway. I mean, look up top. That 2 truck is also swaying a little bit back and forth. So that's one of the hardest parts of super speed racing is being aware of that sway. Now, the 12 of Akari King Wright is right behind Ryan McClurg. And, boy, this field is moving a lot up at the front. Look at the 2 again. He's going to find himself outside 3 wide if he doesn't stop that sway.
I almost wonder if he's trying to cool off the front nose, too. You know what I mean? Pushing lap in, lap out.
Yeah, he could be.
This is a truck that still has tape on it compared to the Cup Series that does not have any more tape on the front nose.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. It could be that Michelangelo truck there, that's Michael Weaver, I believe, in the 2. He is trying maybe to cool off. Hold on, caution in the back. Caution, wrecking. Not that bad, but we'll wait and see what it caused. But this will be good news for drivers. A lap 10 caution, JP. You mentioned 15, 16 lap runs. This would be a good time to go get some fuel.
Well, the reason for the caution, 2 in-sim teammates for this series. Slower than dial-ups. Brad Lawrence gets contact from Nolan McClurg. That sparks the yellow flag. Essentially, the 16 got to the rear end of Lawrence, who's already got left rear damage, got spun sideways, put in the wall, and in our words, some friendly fire. Watch this. Opens the inside up. 16 tries to cut underneath. That's exactly what we're just talking about, what could happen. That nearly blew over the 16. Whoa.
Yeah, the second bit of contact there for the 16 was almost the scarier part because that sent him up into the wall. Remember, in this league, 1 fast repair is available, 1 free truck, 1 reset, however you want to define that term, is available to these drivers. But at a super speedway, JP, watch this again here, and we'll come back to talking about fast repairs. Watch this on board here. There's McClurg, goes to the inside, gets in contact right there. It's a little sideways and up in the wall. So now the challenge I like to think of for a super speedway, JP, when it comes to those fast repairs is when do you use them, right? It makes sense. Hey, my truck is damaged. I'll go use it right now. It's only lap 11. What if something worse happens later? Why not save that fast repair if you can until at least halfway?
And keep in mind, too, tires, I know we're not going to be the major factor here tonight, Derek, but there's only 2 sets in the pits. There's quite simply the expectation that you only have fuel lanes, and when you're not on the jacks, it's quicker to get damage repair done when you're just putting fuel in, that Sunoco race fuel, the back into your truck.
Yeah, I mean, that is the temptation, I think, when you're getting how much fuel you need, is you might as well get tires anyways. A lot of drivers might do 2 at a time, either rights or lefts, and kind of alternate back and forth across the pit stops here. So we'll wait and see if that does happen. Pits road should be open this time by. Here comes your leader making that left-hand turn below the double yellow. And pit road will be busy.
Should see, for the most part, fuel only here. Kevin Burns got the scoring loop, by the way, for the lead over Willie Smith. Samir Stackhouse behind Ryan McClure, but this should regroup the entire field after a good portion of it. Lost draft. Jonathan Day just picked up a penalty already. Yoel for the 80. Not sure where that came from there at the back. And as you would expect, not really any movement for the pit crews on the jacks. Just take the fuel, get off and away. Willie Smith got a better launch out of the box. Takes over the race, the lead. Now, it looks like at least one driver did already burn his set, though. Make it 2. Douglas Ivey and M. Brian Matthews burned their set. Hearing that McAllister missed their stall as well in the flurry of pit stops, so they'll have to likely come down a second time. Good couple others are getting damage repair. So, this is going to be the flurry of activity you would expect here tonight, Derek. Lots of pit stops, lots of sequences. You better know where your pit stall is.
Yep, you better know where it is. You better be able to get into it easily and get out of it well. See, now we're at the longer pit stops right there for Jeffrey Petty. He must have some damage to fix, as maybe others. There's the 77, missed a stop right there. And just, I think he just finally just said, back it up again. Nope, he sticks there. Okay, I thought maybe he was going to kind of eventually just move on, but he finally got it. He never really, I don't think he ever got set in his pit stall, JP.
No, he didn't. I don't even know if that was his pit stall. Just going to double check on that fact. In terms of the running order, that's going to be the tough thing. Was in front of where the 45 of Guerrero was. Believe he actually potentially may have been in possibly the wrong stall general. But the freight drivers are now discussing making sure they keep stable, making sure they keep calm here for the restart. Going to be lap 14 when they get back going, as you see, it's pit stop time again, and as you expect with everybody else on the fuel mileage, you better come out and go and get that splash, otherwise you are a sitting duck.
Getting word from race control about that end of line penalty handout for Jonathan Day. Sounds like maybe something that should happen due to pitting under caution and maybe some confusion about some new rules. So we'll see if that does get cleared out here. I did not ever hear a word from race control about assignment of fault for the caution. I don't know if you ever heard it, JP, but so far nothing from race control regarding that. But we're about to get going green again here. Lights in the pace truck or pace car are out with the trucks behind them. I'll get that right eventually here. So right now, Willie Smith, Kevin Burns, King Wright, Blevins, and Weaver, your top 5. Coming down the back straight here, JP. So I must say I'm impressed. I mean, not to jinx anything, but a pretty solid run for the first set. I mean, 10, 11 laps for the first run. So if we can keep that up here, some promising laps turned here at Daytona.
Keep in mind, there is a new progressive penalty point system that carries points race to race throughout the duration of the season, in addition to a 1, 2, and 3 point rule. Essentially, long story short, 1 point from an incident, no penalty. 2 points, no penalty. You get 3 points, that's an EOL. You get to 4 in a race, that's drive-through. You get to 5, that's a 3-second hold on a black flag. 6 and more, you get some suspensions. Up to 8 is where you get kicked from the series. And it takes a series of clean races to stack up those points removals. 1 race equals 1 point removed, 2 clean races equals 2, and so forth until you reach back to 0. So, you better not get in the penalty box or else you will see your truck evaporate. The field is ready. Green flag is out. We're back to racing from Daytona. Looks like already some pitter-pattering and scattering in the lines, but no one forcing it 3 wide, just a lot of separation. Some of the drivers didn't get up to speed. In fact, at least 3 trucks have lost the draft already. 4 and 5 did, in fact.
Yeah, there's those 4 trucks on your screen right there. They've lost the draft, and I have to think that's on purpose. You don't lose the draft that quickly on a restart typically unless you wanted to. So we'll see if they're just looking to hang back and wait around and see what happens. But up front, that bottom lane is a cooking, JP. 2 cars already clear on the bottom lane. They're working on getting that Ryan McClurg truck clear, but right now that bottom lane is on the move.
Well, you say that, and then the outside gets the boost again. I think it's in the case where it's going to be clear that it's going to be hard to get yourself past the yellow line here tonight. It's been made pretty certain that if you want to try and win this race, you're going to be quite simply having to be at the front of those packs. It's been hard for anybody to break through this log of trucks because they've been so tied together as a pack.
Yeah, speaking of tied together up front, 2 of the 3 Ninja Turtle trucks, Raphael and Michelangelo's on the top lane. You see Donatello down there in the bottom lane, about 5 cars back. Meanwhile, the McClurgs, yellow and purple, are trying to get tied together. So we'll see different bonds possibly forming as this race goes on. Now, that lane conversation we mentioned a second ago, top lane, bottom lane. I'm a believer, JP, that the lanes, as far as what works and what doesn't work, both lanes can work. 3 wide can work at Daytona here in iRacing. It's about if you are patient enough. There's that word again, patience. If you're patient enough to make the lane work, is typically the harder part. A lot of drivers are not patient enough to get up to the top lane and push and make it work. They get impatient and they pull out a line instantly, and that's where the top lane typically falls apart. But look right here, Queen City's 2 and 3 in the top lane, and they are now pushing around that carpet head and Kevin Burns, and they're trying to make that top lane work, and it is working here out of turn 4.
Indeed, it has been so far. Caden Wright trying to bobble and weave to hold on to his push. But he's doing fine for the most part in the midst of this. Right now, working with the Trap House Racing Machine of Smith. Up at the point, you follow on board with the leader. And eventually, you'd have to think teamwork is going to be critical here. Especially when the sync up for the pit stops. You have some of the teams really spread apart here. And normally we see them want to group together, want to work as a unit in this type of racing. But the thing has been so far, as we touched upon, Derek, your friends are where you find them here tonight. And for the most part, no one's willing to lose the track position to just circulate to their teammates here so far, in most cases.
Yeah, we'll see if that holds true as the night goes on and as this race goes on, if that continues to be the case. But, right now you look at that. Right now the McClurgs, top and bottom, they're not trying to get together. So you're right. A lot of drivers is kind of riding for now. I think maybe the planning and the plotting and the strategizing may be happening for later in the race. But right now the goal is just to get to the end and then worrying about doing what you need to do at the end. By the way, to change to the bottom of this racetrack, Kevin Burns moved down a second ago. That has now put Weaver and Blevins. Blevins in the red car, Raphael, Weaver in the orange Michelangelo truck now up front on the top lane. So we're now seeing possible new leaders here come around the line.
You see those intervals, how they play, and some of the battle boxes pop up on your screen. Now, we'll see if we unleash the Ninja Turtles up to the point. Bit of a push once again. Blevins leading that outside line. Weaver trying to push him hard to get him clear to take over this race lead. Try and take the lead from the 99 and from the 3. Looks like he got the chance to clear, but just didn't take it yet. Wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to work to see if they can get both of them clear here, or if they go with the air option. One leads the outside, one leads the inside. The team controls the entire pace of the race.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. I would suspect these Queen City trucks, are going to want to stick together. So I would suspect that they won't move until Weaver and Blevins are both clear. We'll wait and see if that does hold true. Right now what they need is that purple truck and Nolan McClure to get up behind him a little bit closer and kind of help give that extra push from the air if they're going to try to clear the front here. And there's McClure getting up there, and there's now the truck behind getting up there. That's going to help push them. Possibly the Blevins being clear out of 4, but not both of them. That's hard to get 2 trucks clear on the top side.
Yeah, still working hard to do that, and they have already reached the estimated about 2/3 mark, give or take, on the fuel run here. It's going to be a challenge now for a lot of these drivers to get the frequent pit stops constantly here.
And this may be a scenario, pardon me, this may be a scenario where you say, for example, the McClurgs or King Wright or Corey Moore or even Brian Cook may be in a better spot back in this field a little bit because they're going to get the benefit of a draft and they're going to get the benefit of a fuel save by not running up front. Right now, with these limited fuel tanks, I mean, Blevins and Burns are burning all of the fuel compared to the rest of the field.
Good point here. See the A7, once those working their way in the pack, swaying a little bit. Brian Cook, as mentioned, won the test race yesterday. And that was in a race where if you look at the results page and the score that they have, he won by, the winning margin officially was 0.125 seconds.
Yeesh.
I think it technically was a bit different than that because he actually had the finished photo where he was on his side of the truck coming across the line. So the transponder crossed the line basically barely ahead because the bottom of the truck crossed first.
Wow. It's interesting. I did not get to see the test race last night, but these guys do practice hard all week long to be ready for these race broadcasts, to be ready for race nights. So they put a lot of effort in. A lot of effort was made in season 1 of really improving the racing quality and the standards of the average Joe Sim Racing League with the Grill Master Series. And that's continued into season 2. So lots going on here. We're riding on board with Brian Day, the 70 truck. And you're going to see back here, I mean, he's in P29, JP. And just how much movement there is in the lines and how much checking up is kind of involved here at this race. When you're this far back in the field, the effects of the draft really are difficult to judge because you never know when a checkup is coming. You never know when you have to lift. You never know if it's full throttle. You just have to find out. Here's Brad Lawrence. By the way, he's well off the pace. He's just kind of riding around, and he's going to need a caution because he's just about to get lapped by the 2-wide field here.
I'll make a choice here, make it quick. Looks like he's choosing outside. He's down in the field. He's going to try and stay high. But will the field cooperate? Seen a little bit of shakiness from some. It's all the way to the outside wall, and it looks pretty smooth here. Lauren scrapes the wall a little bit, and that actually see John Sheen go to the apron as he tried to dodge around, didn't lose any lines to the outside, and now it's 3 wide up front because Terrence Murphy tries to join his teammates, trying to get around the 16. Oh,
yeah,
and now trucks in the pack.
Oh, hard wall hit.
Caution flag is out. No green flag stops for a second consecutive fuel run. And yet again, things
9
go around. It's Hewitt. Two of the all-day machines also involved.
Yeah, I was going to say the 70 looks like he's out without power there, so he's going to kind of creep it down pit road. Brad Lawrence already down pit road. There's Brian Day. So you're right. As we were getting ready for green flag stops again, here's what I'm wondering. I think we'll be good, JP, but these cautions keep coming out like this. We could see someone really get stuck here because, remember, we have to go around one more time, I believe, before pit road's going to open. But let's watch the wreck first off. There's that blue and yellow machine. He pushes that truck up on the wall, and then he comes down and just causes chaos.
Yeah. Pure chaos. And remember, Lawrence was trying to hug the wall to stay out of trouble. Fortunately, the wall said no. And so, a few drivers already trying to conserve fuel here. We are already 14 laps into the run this time. I think we're about to have a pit party here too, but watch one of the all-day machines. This is the second incident they've been in.
Oh, thought he had it cleared. You hear that engine explode, that big popping sound. You heard the engines kind of give up on one of the trucks, but yeah, you're right. That's unfortunate. He thought he had that wreck cleared and then got tagged in the back end by a different truck. Well, here's pit road open. Here comes a pit stop, JP, and everybody needs gas.
Yeah, right at the end of the field limit, 45 laps to go already. Race going by pretty quickly, actually, by the numbers. Midway point already within reach, just about 10 laps from now. Looks like not too many issues to the pit stall. Ryan McClurg taking his time to enter the stall. But the rate on pit road goes up and away. The 3 did go too deep. Stephen Blevins did not go deep. Race stop for second was close. Believe it was Nolan McClurg. Yes, it was. Ricari Kane Wright. Willie Smith falls to 4th. You're a lucky dog, I believe, or at least the driver they went around the field after going into pit road, Blake Hewlett.
Yeah, we'll wait and see who did win that battle off of pit road, but it was close, and I think you might have been right about it being Nolan McClurg here.
Yes, it was.
Let's see. Yep, it definitely was. You're right about that. So McClurg's already made a good run up through the field here, up to P2, and you see all the cars now going around the 9 here.
Still, you laps to sort things out. Brian Day will have to let by drivers as well. Had also came for the faster pair. When you do that, you basically go in with the pit road closed in that sequence. I believe Brian Cook also picked up a speeding penalty in his race off the lane. So also join in on letting everybody go here. So, a little bit of a change to the order of things as more of these drivers see some different players up at the front of the field here.
Yeah, there's going to be some different drivers up front. That's always going to make it fun and interesting to see how those drivers behave, not just on the restart, but on the run, the draft, the lines, and everything else in between. Race Control has deemed the last wreck, by the way, to be what they're going to call a net code incident. They're going to put no fault on any drivers for that incident, and so no penalties assigned on that moment. See, there's the battle off of pit road you talked about earlier, by the way. Saw some drivers getting darn close to touching that green cone, if not getting outside of it a little too early, but all appears to be good here, JP. So now for the second time, pit stops under caution. So we think we could probably go to about lap, 41, maybe 42, if we stayed green this time. And actually, I was wrong, JP. Before I answer that question, let me come back and say I was wrong. The 87, Brian Cook, did get tagged for hitting that cone on pit exit. So someone did get too close and flirted with the line, and they got caught. But what do you think, lap 42, if we stay green, probably?
Give or take. Yes, I would have to say, based on the math, possibly yes. And watch this. You can tell it's not lined up. You can tell that truck is not paying attention. And in sim, that green cone is not there. Now these days, with the updates to iRacing, the cone will stick there. But in the sim, it found out last night for what the series called that you can knock that cone loose, and it caused someone to speed last night in the series I called.
Yeah, I've seen that cone get tossed around the track before. I've seen that cone get stuck to a truck before. So, yeah, that cone in the past has been cumbersome for some drivers, and right now it's cumbersome for the 87 because he'll get that end of line penalty for touching that cone on pit exit. Well, now we got 2 new cars up front. Blevins leads, McClurg up there. Akari King Wright is still up there. So some new faces, some new names. So maybe just some different spots for some drivers. Again, JP, I know we're on our second wreck, but for drivers entering a new truck compared to the Cup car for last season, I'm impressed by the racing.
So let's find out how this goes. Blevins and Nolan McClurg on the front row. 43 laps to go. Green flag is out. Let's go back racing. And a bit of a bog down for Kevin Burns in the heart of the pack. But everyone's trying to get lined up pretty quickly, including 2 of the teammates from Queen City in the line. They pick up Akari King Wright. Willing to still work with them, though, on the push. Watch for if the 5 moves up to try and take the outside.
I was wondering if he would do that, maybe just leave the teammates be, or if he wants to kind of be in between them and kind of control that that run, so to speak, right there. But up top, it felt like the leader up top, Nolan McClurg, maybe missed a shift or just missed the start here, JP, because that car was slow to get rolling. He's getting a couple pushes from behind, that momentum in the air. They're trying to push him back up front, but that's a pretty big, like a 2-car length difference from bottom to top here for Nolan McClurg.
That's good work by Kari King right here. Driver from Castro Valley picked up his first victory. The first race back in the series, last time in the series campaigns. He is also someone that works for United Airlines out of San Francisco. He's looking to fly his way to the point, and we have someone blow up and crash. One driver upside down, it's Murphy. Whole entire field scatters. It is pure chaos going through Le Mans and all the wind in NASCAR turn 3. Caution flag is out as that went very sharply into chaos.
That list will be easier to figure out who's not involved, JP, than who was. Dallas Hall has repairs to fix. This would be a lot of drivers' fast repairs right here. And everybody is either stopped or, except maybe for the front of the field here. Yeah, one engine blew up in the middle of the field, and it just all hell broke loose very quickly here, right here around lap 30-some. And so this is going to be crazy to see what happened, who avoided it, who didn't avoid it. This will be a lot to unpack here. Watch it again on your screen. Watch in the middle of your screen. Who blows the motor? I guess
it just gets, it's almost like the 5 stomped on the brakes and then popped the motor. It just stopped going.
Did he money shift maybe by accident? It's only I could think of if that motor popped first, or maybe the motor popped in relation to the wreck. I don't know, but and that truck just went around, and from there everybody felt involved. Watch this from on board.
Yeah, how he money shifted mid straightaway, I'm not sure.
That was the 5 of Terrence Murphy, I believe, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, if you want to ask a question such as how does someone money shift under caution, you know the best way to find out? Let's just ask. So let's welcome in to the first time this season into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth, the Donatello car of Terrence Murphy. Terrence, what happened?
My shifter screwed up. When I put it in fourth, it didn't lock in, so I was trying to hold it in. When I thought I had it fixed, I pulled it back down, went into second, blew up the engine. This is the second time it's happened this race. I thought I could get it done, but that stinks. It's a long tow here.
It's a very long tow. Watching a couple of replays on the screen, and so do you have your fast repair left, or are you going to get out here and maybe run for some points, or is your night done?
Yeah, I got a fast repair, so just hoping I only go 1 lap down, get back out there, and see how it goes. We got a long way to go to get back to the front, so.
Fair enough. Well, listen, we'll let you get back down to your Queen City teammates and see if you can talk with them. Good luck the rest of the race.
Thanks, brother.
That is Terrence Murphy. We'll put him back down with Queen City Motorsports. And JP, just a hardware failure. That shifter didn't stick in fourth gear, he said. He got up and airborne, by the way. And then look at this on back. I mean, everybody, the 5. That's Austin Guerrero, I believe, in that bright colored truck, if I recall correctly, involved in there. And then from there, just all hell broke loose at the end of the back straight.
This caution, really nobody except for a few came down for pit service. The only ones coming down essentially were in the wreck. See the girl dad truck gets hit a couple times over, nearly blew over for good measure.
Ryan McClurg moved way to the left. I think he thought he had the wreck cleared, and he got tagged by someone right at the very end. So that 43 truck moved to the bottom very quickly. So I'm not sure what damage he may have picked up here, but now it's a much different view up front, JP. Watch this one more time from up top here. There's the trucks involved. Here's McClurg on the bottom. By the way, he got tagged right there, and that truck coming out of the Le Mans chicane almost got airborne on his own right, but wow, that's going to be the big one. If that's not the big one, I'm scared to see what the big one is here at Daytona.
So we have contact just under caution, as it looks like Kevin Burns just got destroyed at the back bumper by one of the Carolina Hurricanes trucks, Dallas Hall. Everybody else is okay under the pace lap. So, going to try this again. We're almost at the halfway point, but it's a good time to mention that this series is brought to you by Grow Masters. The highlight is 30 different vitamins and minerals and an all-natural organic dewormer, which promotes gut health. When any animal is not fighting parasites and worms, they feel better, eat more, and they grow more, antlers included. Mention Average Joe Sim Racing League when placing an order for 2 to 40-pound buckets, and you will receive a free hat. This is an exclusive offer for Average Joe's racers, family members, friends, and viewers tonight. So, the field is doubling up, and this is where you don't like getting damaged. This is a good way to destroy the spoiler.
Yeah, under caution nonetheless. That's more reckless. You know, I want to say real quick, JP, and we can talk about this more as the race goes on. I'm surprised by the lack of pitting right there. I know it's only been a couple laps since the last caution, but on these shortened fuel cells, what do you have to lose by pit? If you're already in the back of the field, I get maybe why Blevins, McClurg, Smith, Sheen, you know, the top 10 maybe didn't pit. But if I'm already back, let's say P20, if I'm Kevin Burns, Dallas Hall, Ryan McClurg, why not come down and pit, right? I mean, what do you have to lose? You get a little bit more fuel in the truck, and maybe that benefits you somehow. I would have definitely considered it if I was mid-pack on back here in this race.
Yeah, a fair few did, as we said. But now, we'll see where things really shake up once we get to 38 to go at the stripe. Blevins, Nolan McClurg, Willie Smith, John Sheen now up at the top 4. Fred Chase. Then rounding out your top runners here is Kean Fry. Kean Fry, by the way, is the only independent in the entire field this evening. Pace car's off. Green flag is out. We're back to racing. And hold on, we have a lot of people switching lanes just before the start and finish line. John Sheen was amongst them, just starting to sway down left. I'm not sure if that will come up with race control or not.
Yeah, I don't think it will, but I noticed very quickly that there was a gap up front that Nolan McClurg covered. He saw a gap between the two cars up front in Blevins and Smith, and he went ahead and pulled on down and gotten that momentum. But here comes the top side. Look at this momentum happening quickly. I wonder if Nolan McClurg now regrets that move to the bottom, because look at the cars up top here. There's the 62. There is a bunch of other cars, and they're now going around the front. That is Fred Chase, who had a strong run last season. And, oh my gosh, you're right. Nolan McClurg, black flag, switching lanes before the line. I don't think he switched before the line. I thought his switch was at the line, JP. I mean, race controls called it. But wow.
Technically, not. He can be one of a couple to get
you're
one.
right.
You see,
Look at that. No, I'm wrong.
The one was before the line, too.
Yeah, and you're going to catch McClurg. That was a good catch by race control. So I wonder how many more may come up here, but that's a great call by race control. Got it right. I thought maybe it happened after the line, but nope. Before the line, black flag.
So the outside line, by the way, being led by Jonathan Dominics. He looks to try and find a way to push to the very point for the first time as 16 will nearly collect them on the way in. That was a little bit scary for a moment for Nolan. He goes down pit road, serve the penalty for the lane change. Looks like though, that's opened up the door for Robert Tester.
It's opened up the door for a couple of drivers here. I mean, honestly, a new leader up in Fred Chase. Robert Tester's up in that gold car in P3. But it was sort of funny. Nolan McClurg had to go down pit road regardless, and he almost sort of got some assistance from Robbie Tester making it happen. Blevins trying to block off the run from Tester. They're now both to the outside. Watch this up top. Hold on, we're wrecking. Tester up in the wall. And there's another big one, JP.
Time for a slalom course. Chaos reigns in the heart of the field. Jonathan Dominics. Disqualification, Jonathan Day already. The 62 is demolished in the heart of the field. Others like Robert Sheen, the wrong way around, and we're back under yellow. And we We are now officially at the halfway point. Watch Tester. It wasn't that as close as it looked here, but after that, it got chaotic.
It did. So, hey, the good news for Nolan McClurg, we're under caution. That'll basically wipe off that black flag penalty he has. But looking up front now, JP, what's going to happen here quickly? A lot of drivers, I think, would use their fast repair in that last big wreck. I'm willing to bet we're going to start to lose some trucks here on this wreck. Oh, Robert Tester got bumped from behind, and then it just broke loose.
He was trying to follow Blevins. It was not the closest. The squeezes in at first, but it was close on the front nose of Chase as the field gets demolished and yet again under caution here tonight. On that note, Frank Chavez made it through the slalom course, is now up 19. Josh Revel, who is involved in early incidents, up 20. Here's a look on board.
Tester is going to get down, and it's going to get an off-center bump there from, I believe that's Fred Chase in the blue car. And then, the 62 also got, he kind of maybe came down, and then it just broke loose behind him, JP. Just people with nowhere to go and no time to check up, and it just got chaotic.
So let's find out what's going to happen here. 62. Tried to floor it through the trouble. No. Didn't get on by the 94, and then into the heart of the field, locking it up. Trying to hold on to it, but everybody else didn't get the chance to respond.
Yeah, Liam Ray barely got a little bit of him. And so on, so forth. Pit road is now open. Now most drivers will come down. And once again, the lines would be for repairs, I think. The 94, by the way, has been assigned the fault for that wreck. So race control has deemed the 94 truck to be at fault there. And I think, honestly, JP, I think probably from the replays we saw, Robbie Tester came down and Fred Chase got in the back end. I'd have to see it in slow-mo. Look, that's not our job, but I think that's probably the right call.
Yeah.
He caused the start of it. It did sort of break loose 4 or 5 times after that, but I think that's probably the right call.
Did have a few people stay out with the roulette now forming here with the quickie cautions. Danner McAllister now up front. Kevin Burns, Blake Hewitt, and Michael Harrington all took their chances on strategy. Cautions breed cautions is all you can really say.
Yeah, and it's going to extend this fuel run. We talked about it being, 14, 15 laps. With these 2 cautions, this fuel run could go as long as maybe it's 20 laps. And there you see, Tester got up top. 62, I'm not as sure of. So I don't know.
Yeah, chaos.
Being told right now, interesting story to note, not sure what's going to happen with it. Nolan McClurg did get down pit road before the caution came out, and it sounds like it wasn't cleared. We're going to wait and see some word on that. This is going to be from the 8. Watch this replay here. He gets down on the apron. Is he going to clear it? Gets a couple spots here in the grass. He's good. He's good. More in the grass.
Oh, I think there's a good reason why it didn't get cleared, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, if you have a stop and go as we get a delayed restart situation here, do you have to stop in the box fully? The thought process, if you go to Nolan McClurg, is yes, you better stop fully in the box. And if you ever do a driver's test, stop means 0 miles an hour. You're not going what we call the Windsor stop, where I'm from. Where you roll through the stop sign and just go at, guess what? He did a Windsor stop. He never fully stopped in the box.
So, first off, out here on the West Coast,
he still cleared it. He got away with it with the Windsor stop.
So, first off, out here on the West Coast, we call them the California rolls, which is the same thing depending upon where you're from. But second off, here's the question, JP, and this is where I am on the penalty. what was the penalty? Because I thought I heard over the driver radio it was a drive-through penalty, and I think the reason it didn't clear is the opposite of what you're saying. A drive-through penalty means go down pit road and don't stop. I think, and I may be wrong, when I wait till post-race to get some word from race control, the reason why it doesn't clear is a drive-through is a drive-through. The moment he stops in his stall, that is not a drive-through. I think that's why it didn't clear. I'm with you. He got away with it, no matter what the technical reason is.
Well, he's going to be restarting either way in 24th-ish for this time.
That's a tough run.
So, as the chat continues to light up in the sim, let's see who's able to light things up here on the racetrack. Remember, some of the early races on the schedule, too, to set the tone. Could Iowa, Homestead, Miami, Dover. Mix of short tracks, mile and a half mixed in with the Super Speedway. Originally supposed to not be the opener. That got changed from Homestead. And question marks are signed. Kevin Burns got the better launch. High side of caution again. Caution is out.
Oh my God. What happened back there? That was like a one truck wreck that just spawned like 9 trucks spun around. What in the world happened back there? I don't understand, JB, how that went from, it was like a kaleidoscope effect back there. What?
I think Brian Cook might be the spark of this one. Brian Cook said he jumped out of the gas because they slammed on the brakes in front of me. Counterpoint. The gap in front of the 87 was about a truck lane to the nearest truck. So it was a checkup to avert the checkup that caused another checkup that caused pandemonium and the entire field getting clogged in the bottom.
Yeah, well, I would love to see a couple onboards to see how big those gaps were and what happened. But I thought that was a 2-truck wreck, and next thing I looked up, it was like the back half of the field was spun around there just after a pit exit here. I don't know. This has gotten messy for a race that was doing pretty well. And the first, 30 or so laps has just gone bonkers in the last 15 or 20 here. So watch this here. This is going to be...
Yeah,
that's Brian Day.
Yeah, yet again. The all-day trucks have had a horrific time, by the way, because they have been collected in a lot as a group tonight.
Wonder if we can get an onboard from the 87 of Brian Cook and see what he could see from his point of view. He says he had to get out of the gas to do some checkups in front of him. I'd love to see what that looked like. I think that may be sort of the epicenter of this caution. Look at that gap up ahead. We're going to go on the start here. And
he had time to still stay in the gas, did he not?
I don't know.
That has to be he didn't know where the front nose was.
Or maybe it's just generally, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. But up front here, as we're running around, it is now Burns, McAllister, Hewlett, Harrington, and Fred Chase up top 5. This is almost a brand new top 5 from where we were 10 laps ago. But pit stops open again. And, I mean, heck, at this point, if I'm in the field, I come down and put gas in this thing and just be ready for the next run because, I don't know.
More black flags go flying as more pit stops get underway. And some of the trucks at the front of the field are going to have to come in pretty soon. Here's another look at the replay as that spun the 20 and then Calamity Corner. Josh Reva was that truck, by the way. Caution is on the 12. Did I just hear that right, Derek?
I'm double checking that as well to see if that's what I thought I heard. And yeah, give me a minute to confirm that. If you, I don't know. I want to look into that.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting to confirm this again under race control's call to make sure that's what I thought I heard, and I'm going to be
Yeah,
I have.
I'll let you determine that at this point, but all I can say is restart again.
There's nothing to. Okay, oh, that's a hard hit in the wall right there. You saw that's a result of that. I guess I don't want to justify it, but the only justification I guess you use is your typical everyday driver laws. If you were in someone, I guess you're the one at fault because you're responsible for the front end of your car. But I got nothing.
So the field is doubling up now. That's the bigger point as Brad G tries to stay on the lead lap here. It's going to be curious if he does get to keep the lap. Kevin Burns is up front. Michael Harrington in second. Tanner McAllister, Blake Hewlett. Still all drivers staying out here. Fred Chase still at the front. Then you have Kian Fry also up front still. Interesting story for Kian Fry, by the way. Once the Independence, as we mentioned, has only been on iRacing for 11 months. Joined the league 3 months ago. He's picked up wins in his races. But also just so happens to have won a championship in the National Football Association. Essentially 8-man semi-pro football. He's an offensive lineman with the Midwest Assailants. So he is an accomplished football player. An 8-man football that is big in the States.
Yeah, it's a different form of football, so congrats to him. And I don't know if we have any webcams up tonight for him. I thought maybe he had made himself available on the webcam. So we'll see if we can maybe get him up here and show him next to his truck. But yeah, there he is. There's Kian right there. So pretty cool. Only in the sim 11 months. That's not that long in the grand scheme of things, and pretty accomplished so far and having a good time. You're up 11 spots on the evening to tie that number 11 together and having a good run.
Just looking to keep himself clean now that he's got track position. He is a part of those who topped off not this caution, the last caution. Let's try this with 28 laps to go once again. Watching from the start as G gets himself a black flag, as you would expect. He was the driver trying to beat the pace line. We're backing away. And the outside is already 2 trucks back. Already Slow-em course time in front of him. Hewitt going. They are ditching Kevin Burns.
JP, did you notice in that webcam shot real quick just the pose and the posture of Kian right there? It kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's worth it, but the wheel's kind of far ahead. He looks like the pedals are really close to his feet. I would love to see it, maybe advise Kian to sit back a little bit and kind of let that stretch out. I don't know, but this stuck out to me. Does that look like an odd pose to you, or am I crazy?
It is a bit of a different look, I think. But he is one of the bigger drivers in terms of offensive linemen. What I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, there is a black flag on the racetrack, more importantly for Petty. About to come on down, Justin Day we're seeing. Those are interesting sunglasses.
Jeffrey Petty, by the way, also tagged, according to race control, for switching lanes before the start-finish line. So we'll just going to point out there. Yeah, Justin Day, you're right. Very unique glasses. I saw these glasses in the pre-race, and look how calm he looks, just having a conversation on the voice chat. Apparently, he looks very chill for being right here in the middle of the pack at Daytona. Just very relaxed, kind of very different pose, almost leaned back in his chair a little bit, JP. So 2 different drivers, 2 different approaches to how you sim race.
Going to be pretty close for some of these drivers. I think we're about to see pit stops coming up. A few drivers are losing the pack already, by the way. Liam Ray amongst those as penalty serve time for the blue 7. Liam Ray has the fan cheering him on up from above.
That might be his biggest fan.
Possibly.
Possible.
Liam Ray just hoping to hold on to the pack at this point amongst the drivers that is brand new to the series. Builds computers and small home networks for a living.
Yeah, also does some good theater production for his local church. Native of Missouri, I do believe, if I recall correctly. So a very young, talented driver, well-spoken. And you see there, again, maybe a different approach. That wheel up high, a little closer to him. but sitting straight up in his seat. So I love watching the webcams. I think the webcams are the best part of the broadcast, JPs. It really gives you insight into the driver that we don't see otherwise as this race goes on. But McAllister's up front. Blake Hewlett. This is believed to be Nolan McClurg right here. And Nolan looking very comfortable in the VR headset. He's got the nice sim seat behind him. So I guess the VR conversation. Is that our first VR headset of the night, I do believe?
Yes, it is. And keeping calm while trying to make up spots here in the traffic jam. A couple 3 wide moves in front of him. It's going to make things difficult with Wayne Graves up high. Side draft's starting to actually pull him back a bit. And now, that was a bit of a checkup because Graves crowded the inside lines. Graves wanted the spot back, and he crowded everybody to check up for him.
Yeah, and there was almost a contact there between McClurg and the 51 as well. In that moment up top there, you saw it. But, hey, look up top. I just realized Queen City is lined up at least 3 or 4 cars. We're lined up right there on the outside of McClurg. Look at the top of your screen right there. 1, 2, and 3. I think they're missing Leonardo, I believe is who they're missing in that group.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Ninja Turtle, Justin?
Not specifically, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Donatello. 100% Donatello. The coolest turtle. Had the best weapon. Often made the plans. Was the leader of the group. I thought, yeah, and his favorite color is purple. How do you not love purple? I'm Team Donatello.
A lot of drivers weeble-wobbling. Graves is just going to take a 3 wide by everybody. And this is not going to look pretty in a moment. Near contact, he's crowding to force himself down again. And Michael Weaver is amongst those. This entire team for Queen City is saying, you're leaving the door open. I'm going to make you learn what 3 wide feels like if you keep doing it.
Moving up front, by the way, there's...
Go ahead.
Yeah, moving up front, Kean Fry just got up front here, so a good run by him. And I agree, coming back to that conversation, and that 07 keeps pushing that move to kind of push his way back in line. Eventually, someone's not going to lift, right? Someone's going to say, hey, dude, let's see, get up there, and you see him scrub the wall, and there's going to be Queen City going on around. But eventually, they're going to stop letting him kind of bully himself back into the run here, and they're going to make him suffer the consequences. And this might be the time.
Wall contact. Graves does not feel comfortable at all with this line.
Oh, McClurg, watch out.
He's trying to force a hole again. Got to work quick, and now it's 4-1. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Caution. And you could see that coming.
There's too much movement. I mean, and what happened to actually cause it was Nolan McClurg got up and kind of bumped one of the Queen City trucks. I think that was Terrence Murphy, I believe. But it's not really on McClurg. There was a checkup up ahead that I don't think he saw was coming. And it just sort of worked its way backwards, and that was sort of the stopping point. So watch it again here from McClurg's point of view. Be a Queen City car up ahead here. There's the bump. There's a second bump, and there's a claim, and then McClurg's just going to drive away. But I suspect, we'll wait and see. I don't want to jinx it, but I think Race Control might tag him for that wreck. Confirmed on the 16. Yep.
Yes.
So no penalty. It is a warning per the new system you discussed earlier with the escalating penalties. So no end of line, no moving back, nothing like that. But yeah.
A lot of warnings have popped up tonight. Terrence Murphy, by the way, lucky dog, this caution. Let's take a look here again. Just a fight with the truck at that point as they go for the ride.
That had been brewing for a couple of laps, I think, between the 07 trying to bully his way in, between the runs that were happening up front, the leaders changing and kind of breaking the draft. It felt like that was coming for a while. I mean, it's avoidable to some extent, don't get me wrong, but you could kind of almost, sometimes you can sense it as a driver, right? Some drivers will tell you they can see the draft or they can feel the draft. Some drivers can see the wreck coming, like a lap or two ahead. And it's hard to explain, JP, to someone who's not done a lot of driving in the sim how you can see the wreck coming. But sometimes your tingles go off, right? Your Scooby sense goes off, and you can say, hey, man, there's a wreck coming here. I might want to back out. And sure enough, in a lap or two, it happens.
So we'll do this again soon, but we have pit stops here. Jason Rushing and Dan Adams did not pit. Everybody else has gone down. Austin Guerrero also staying out.
And I don't hate that because we're 20 to go. Everybody has to pit again. The question is, when do you do it? No one's good from here. And if you take the numbers, we're thinking about, JP, 14, 15 laps, no one can make it. You need, what, 2 more cautions to be able to make it from here, you think? And that's not counting if there's overtime?
Give or take, yes. So let's find out how this is going to fare out here. They've gone 14-ish laps. They have to come down pretty quickly here. You'd have to think this isn't going to last too long. They're going to have to come down right at the end of the window here.
Right, but the question, well, remember, a bunch of this has been under caution. So that normal 14 window lap you're thinking of for people like Rushing, Dan Adams, Austin Guerrero, even Doug Ivey, who pitted 2 laps on lap 39, pitted 2 laps after these guys. A lot of these laps have been under caution, so they could probably extend this window. All they need to extend is 5 laps. If they can extend this window 5 laps, then they're within that last pit stop window. So knowing everybody has to pit again, by the way, that's a car painted by Austin, inspired by his daughter. So his daughter helped inspire this girl dad paint. That's an awesome look for Austin. But I like this call. If you might not put yourself up front, everyone's to pit again, why not take advantage of it?
And Guerrero's picked up a lot of attention in the chat here tonight. Guerrero, mind you, once those that spends time with kids, played some co-ed softball as well in terms of the hobbies. Just recently reached an accomplishment of running 100 races officially. See Jason Rushing's viewpoint soon here because he's going to be the control truck for the restart. And this is a very vast setup here for Mr. Rushing. Part of those racing for the rabbit hole machines.
Hey, the Kyle Busch thing looks normal again. Did you notice that? It's not the whatever that thing was. It was during the off-season race we saw a couple weeks ago. But look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors here. He's got 3 monitors for racing. There's a telemetry monitor down in the bottom left. There's Jason waving to the broadcast as he's watching the broadcast up ahead. So there's a lot of monitors. I bet there's a lot of heat in that room right now, JP.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot with the sim rig, especially if you keep the door closed. Absolutely. But at this point, may as well make the entire wall monitors. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, why not? I always get amazed by pictures of multiple monitors. I have 3, and I don't imagine how I could ever focus on a 4th. But like our producer, Dustin Allis, I think has like 6 in his room. So yeah, those multiple monitor setups get wild and crazy and expansive and really cool to look at. But Jason Rushing, you saw him on the webcam a second ago. He's going to lead this field around. Dan Adams in the Green Bay Packers truck up top. Dan must be having an okay season being a fan of the Green Bay Packers. A good start to their season so far. And then they'll have Guerrero and Ivy behind them. Doug Ivy, one of the well-known painters of this league, by the way. If you like a paint that exists in this league, it's about 50-50 odds that Doug painted that truck for somebody.
Yes. Now we get ready with 18 to go. Where will the fuel lie for here from the front? Good change, it looks like, for Dan Adams this time, as the top 3 or 4 checked up a lot quicker, or launched out a lot quicker than the rest of the field here as they move to the bottom.
Yeah, Ivy just got down in line, so there brings that fuel save. The only person not really benefiting right now is Jason Rushing, because he is leading that bottom line. So he's going to burn the most fuel. Up top, here comes Corey Moore in the PBR truck. he'll be up and around pretty quickly. And that top lane is going to try and make a move here and get on around. And let's see when those top drivers need to pit. You mentioned they didn't pit. There's 4 trucks on the bottom right there, and they're getting passed by pretty quickly. There's Corey Moore on around. Akari King Wright is on around here in the 12. He wants to lead a lap or two. So this is getting busy and busy here as we get about 17 laps to go.
All sorts of time for some of these drivers to work. Up front, though, King Wright, Willie Smith charges front. Willie Smith able to take over the point. And now we'll look to try and work with Corey Moore in regards to working up the point. Still, though, it's going to be interesting where a lot of the shuffling out comes. 22 spots gained still for Jason Rushing with that strategy call. It's like Michael Harrington forces it 3 wide, and he's getting squeezed and turning around. Goes the 9.
Oh, look up, Dan Adams up in the wall. I'm not sure why that happened in the inside wall. There's more trucks. This is all turned around. Oh my gosh, they're still wrecking back here.
Caution yet again. That should mean we should be good on fuel here.
Yeah, this is going to pay off for Jason Rushing and those trucks up front, JP, because with this caution, everyone comes down. Everyone tops off, and they are on equal footing.
So, our disqualification for incidents Brian Day is done. As the 9, Blake Hewlett. Yeah, he came down and tried to crowd the second line, you could argue. They might give the cause, though, to the middle line there.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what Race Control has to say about it. You see the wreck that continued there on afterwards. And again, so let's walk it through. Willie Smith had taken the lead. Akari King Wright was second. Corey Moore, Stephen Blevins, Justin Day, your top 5 on the board here. So again, I think everyone pits this time by. Watch the wreck again. And watch the 88 of Dan Adams. After the wreck, does he just check up too hard, I wonder? Or did he get he got contact. That's what happened. I missed the contact. That's why Adams ended up in the wall with that Green Bay Packers car.
Should see a pit party here for the field as, yeah, right there, you see him taking up on the wall. Fenders go flying. And at this point, 2 of the all-day machines are done. Some people stayed out here.
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, I think they can make it here with the cautions.
Maybe that's the case. I wouldn't want to risk that, but I think that's a strategy. I'll give you that here.
So,
by the way, Race Control has put the wreck on the 9 car for the record. So that car, I believe it was on the outside, and the 9 will be the culprit. That'll be a warning for him in this new system. So that's Blake Hewlett who came down.
yes.
So watch it one more time. There's Hewlett up top. And, man, JP, of all the wrecks tonight, that might be one of the close ones as far as who did what. I mean, that angle right there alone makes it questionable. I'm sure different angles show better how Hewlett came down, but, boy, that was close.
Yeah, you have the combination of driver on the outside trying to crowd, driver in the middle seeing the hole and taking it, driver on the inside crowding up, everybody squishing. But coming up to 14 to go here, and Akari King Wright getting some lead laps, first time up at the front here tonight with this choice here. Looking to be in a good spot here. He's been a good pusher. Now he tries to be a leader.
Yeah, I want to thank the YouTube chat as well for hanging out all night long and being strong. Shelby Guerrero's out there, Dart's out there, Daniel's out there. A few other drivers are commenters. Chris Nichols has been in the chat tonight at some point. So I want to say Shelby Guerrero, I don't know what Shelby does. That's Akari King Wright on the webcam, by the way. But Shelby Guerrero says that they have 6 monitors at work. I don't even know what you could do that you need 6 monitors for work. That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be a lot of information at the track, to say the very least, in that situation. Kari King Wright just communicating with teammates here. Stephen Blevins alongside. Here's the tough thing. It's going to be him and Terrence. He's going to have to fight with two teammates. Blevins has Terrence Murphy up on the outside with him for this restart. As he says hello to the camera.
Remember, Akari and his teammates came out with the, remember they had those Penske paint schemes for the off-season race a couple weeks ago. Akari's still in the 12 car, showing his love for Team Penske, but right now he's up front, kind of a driver who's all alone for teammates up there. The 12, I think the 2 and the 22 are well back in this race, so the 2 is all the way back Michael Weaver in P25. There's a look. This is the screen for Dustin Allis, our producer, by the way. That is all 6 screens of what he's watching to help us make this broadcast look and sound good, JP. I'd get lost somewhere in these monitors.
Yeah, that's a lot of monitors.
There's 2 stream decks in there, a keyboard, a mouse. Boy, oh boy. What is that wallpaper? You see that wallpaper? Is that like from the 70s?
Apparently it's from a Holiday Inn Express, if I heard that correctly.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, well, 13 laps to go at the line, JP. So a couple stories to follow. You've mentioned here Akari King Wright, Blevins, Murphy, McClurg, Ryan McClurg. They might be trying to stretch this on gas with another caution. Some other drivers pitted this time by. They're trying to secure the fuel. So lots to think about as the green flag comes out.
So it's going to be a 13-lap run from here if we stay green. Should be okay on fuel from this point. Green flag is out. The teammates go to work on the outside. And they are immediately splitting themselves apart.
Yeah, kind of weird, and I think that team loyalty didn't go far. They both got to the bottom. They got Ryan McClurg in between. McClurg giving a bit of a small bump here to the 51. And now the top 4 cars, single file in the bottom lane, 2x2. They're back. And JP, now, remember earlier I said I like to lay back. I like to kind of be in the back. That's over. It is time to go. It's time to step on the pedal. It's time to make moves happen, as Ryan McClurg tried, and now he is stuck in the sucker hole.
Still trying it, though. He's swaying a little bit. Ryan McClurg now gets one of the all-day machines. The last one left, Justin Day jumps up. Where did Justin Day come from? Now they're trying to block them both lines. Justin Day gets hit. Damage to Day. Oh, wow. Corey Moore takes the lead. It's still 3 wide.
How they're still green, I don't know. They're 3 wide back there. They're 2 wide further back. How that bump didn't lead yet another yellow, I don't know. Ryan McClurg apologized instantly. Austin Guerrero makes contact with the 77. We're still good. This is getting chirpy.
Yeah, very chippy right now in terms of some of the contact in the lanes. Oh, and Akari King Wright, that's borderline. He's cradling the old line to make a pass. 3 wide for second, as now Cook is working with the yellow machine. Akari King Wright was on top of the yellow line to force the 3 wide.
Cook needs to get center back there on the top. No, hold on. Before we get to that topic, look at the squeeze on the top. But if they're going to bump on the top lane, JP, I was worrying because Cook was not dead center. But hold on, caution's out. There's the 07. There's Dan Adams on the bottom. I don't see the cause. I just see the effect. Oh, there's a car turnaround.
Is around. Liam Ray was the person who caused the DQ. It was a checkup for Sheen, and Wayne Graves went for a ride to the road course, a part of the incident that did burn out the trigger. A few others also pick up black flags for good measure. So remember, the incident limit for this field was 20 tonight. A lot of people picking up more than 20 here this evening.
Watch that blue and black truck, Liam Ray. I think he got bumped, honestly, is what it looked like with the way that car wobbled. But, ooh, he almost got clobbered by a Ninja Turtle that went spinning on through. But you're right. Unfortunately, that's his incident limit. That truck disappeared. He is done for the evening. And that limits a good rule, JP, because as you said, this league has more of a developmental league feel to it. It's welcoming to all drivers. And so we're going to have some times when some drivers are going to make some mistakes, and there needs to be an offsetting correction for that. So I like that idea here, and we'll wait and see. There's the field checking up for the pace car here.
Yep. Field just making sure they're getting it up. Here's an arrow look. It's the back part. 0-0.
Dan Adams made contact with that Ninja Turtle back there who went sliding across the track as well. So that's why Dan Adams was on the bottom of the track.
So the field will reset with under 10 laps to go, Derek. This field has been wild tonight. It's been living up to caution precaution. Ooh. That was straight dropping through on the checkup.
That was almost ARCA brake territory, JP.
Yeah, that was just a checkup.
Or not. That's the case, maybe, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell from that little bit of a limited view, but you're right. It's been a moment here. So Corey Moore is your leader in the PBR truck. He's got Justin Day behind him. Akari King right. Ryan McClurg is still up in P4. And if we could back up the replay a little bit before Liam Ray goes bobbling, I'd love to see what happened there, because Race Control has deemed this whole wreck, JP, to be a racing incident. So I'm not sure if Liam Ray got touched by someone and that car bobbled or what happened, but a racing incident is the call. So here's the full wreck. Watch the middle of your screen, the 31. Is he going to get hit by someone? They checked up in front? Maybe. They checked up in front and he got hit in the back by Fred Chase. But racing incident is the call. And that might be the right call with all those checkups. So Ryan McClurg's also on the webcam side. That's the father of Nolan McClurg. He's the driver up in P4. There's Ryan. So I want to say real quick for a moment that replay, JP. I'm impressed. Ryan got himself stuck in the sucker hole about 5 laps ago. And I would have put money on the fact that he was going to fall back through the field. But somehow fighting it 2-3 wide, he managed to stay P4 up through this point in the race.
All night for this series with lots of stack ups. It's about keeping calm at this point. Seeing the calmness from him as we go. Now Monsto's going to be up at the front. Michael Weaver picks up a black flag under pit road. The rest of the field stacks up. So now how do you play this? Because 3 wide might become necessary, but 3 wide's been dangerous. Going for the run will require some people to make some big, bold moves. Track position critical. How do you try and play this now?
It's different, unfortunately, right now. If I'm more... Let's see, let me look at those. Sorry, if I'm King Wright, Ryan McClurg, Terrence Murphy, and I didn't pit that last caution, I need to probably for the next 5 laps to be a little bit more conservative, make sure I have the fuel to get to the end before I start racing aggressively. If I'm Corey Moore, if I'm Justin Day, if I am even Brian Cook back in P6, I'm just all out right now because I'm pretty sure I'm confident I have the fuel to go as long as we don't hit overtime, which, by the way, the next wreck, maybe not the next wreck. The next wreck could put us into overtime if that does come up to be a possibility. But it just depends where I am fuel-wise. I just don't believe that King, Wright, McClurg, and Murphy are as solid on fuel as they think they are.
Yeah, it's going to be a curious time now for some with the way the cautions have fallen tonight. Just about ready for the restart. It's Corey Moore. It's Justin Day on the front row. It's Caden Wright and Ryan McClurg. Terrence Murphy with Brian Cook up there. Stephen Blevins and Austin Guerrero are amongst your first 4 rows. Willie Smith and Tanner McAllister are part of the top 10 here for this one. And we're stacking up on the outside.
We're checking up under caution, guys. It's so let's wait till the appropriate time.
Stack up after stack up here tonight. Now they're checking up again. I think this field's getting very antsy to be able to get back going here is kind of the sense I'm getting. Wouldn't you say, Derek?
I agree with that. And the con to that means that everyone's going to be antsy on the start. Everyone's going to say, hey, man, with all the yellows that have happened in the past 30 laps, I need to make a move instantly to find my spots. The problem with that mentality is that makes it more likely for the next yellow to come out, and the more antsy you get. So you've really got to pay attention and be ready. By the way, tomorrow night, Nolan Rimple and Lucas Moody are here. We're just going to leave the Green Flag TV cameras and production booth here because tomorrow night they're here for the Zero Torque Racing League. Saturday night we go to Iowa, and then Darlington, yourself, and Emmett Crow. And we're here all week long. Look at this. Just a great racing league ending next Thursday with the Average Joe's Sim Racing League at Iowa. So make sure you're on the channel and happy to watch all the racing action because we're going to give it to you for the next 6 out of the 7 days.
So coming up to the restart, 7 laps to go. The upcoming schedule on the right side of the screen. The drivers rolling on the left side. Green flag is out. About even off the launch, but no help for Justin Day. Moore moves up to the middle line for a moment. But the inside's more gathered up as they try and get themselves a charge to the front.
Corey Moore's doing a good job leading that bottom lane, trying to stick that truck as close to the yellow line as humanly possible. Don't give up the opening on the inside. Be patient, but now look up front. Now is the car King Wright. He's made the move up top. He's going to bring one of the Ninja Turtles with him, and they're going to try and take the lead in 1, 2 cars clear. Do they pull down? King Wright does. The 5 does, and Justin Day still stuck on the outside, but McClure right behind him. Oh, King Wright, watch out. Oh, it's going to get bad here.
Oh, and more checkups yet again. Corey King Wright trying to hold on, coming to 6 to go. Day bobbles around as they still try and find a way to push. Clark getting a little antsy, but Terrence Murphy, who money shifted earlier in the race, down a straightaway, who's trying to hold on without steering issues. Can he hold on to try and get a win?
Gosh, JP, you left that. I thought it left my mind, but now if I'm a car behind the 5, now I'm nervous. If I'm Corey Moore or others, hoping that gear shifter sticks for a couple more laps here. King Wright moved up and blocked the lane. I thought for sure that was going to go bad, but he's able to get it working here. He's got a push from Day, a push from McClurg, and the rest of the top lane on through. 5 to go this time by. Any more cautions brings out Average Joe's Grill Masters overtime.
Here we go. 5 laps now to go. Right now, the run for Kane Wright dying off here. Doesn't have things synced up there. Top 2 have already cleared on the bottom line. Will a third be able to do the same? We see things scatter about soon.
The problem for the top lane is that Day is not staying squared up with King Wright. There's a bump from McClurg in the Day. That'll help King Wright a little bit. But every time that top lane gets off kilter, every time they get off center from one another, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt that run a little bit. But here comes King Wright with a bump in the corner from Day. Now pushing the pusher, and that top lane's gonna fall apart. There's a wreck.
Caution flag is out. Kevin Burns out of the race. Chaos in the back, and more people slam into it. Robert Sheen gets pinballed all the way up into traffic, and we're back under yellow again, and this may be green white checker territory. My goodness, one of the blue machines there just streaked their way through the caution flag, and now we see what happens from here. Another big one. Well,
no penalty for that between the 43 and the 87 is what was called. That's not the... Okay. Am I confused? What?
Yeah. Where are you referring to here? Because
that's what race control called. Is he said a caution between the 43 and the 87, no penalty. But the caution was between, I thought, the 101 and the... Oh, he's going to call it from behind. The 43 is Ryan McClurg. He's going to call the caution from behind.
There was some error between the two of them, yeah.
Yeah, that's not where I thought... It's not what I think the cause of the caution is, but that's okay. I think the caution is the 43 and the 101, to be clear, but nonetheless, no penalty for that caution. Okay.
So, still borderline for some of the drivers, and now it becomes, can you make it in green run checker territory on the fuel tank here?
Gosh, that's so close. I would not feel. I don't know, JP. I mean, how small these tanks are. A lot of drivers pitted back on lap 56. We're now working lap 67. We're 11 laps in. A couple caution. How confident would you be right now to watch another replay of this wreck? How confident would you be in your fuel tank right now to go through overtime?
How confident would I be?
As I wouldn't be. I would put fuel in it just to be safe. I want that peace of mind of knowing I'm good. But I'm curious how you would feel.
I mean, Austin Guerrero was once those are just topped off. My thought is we haven't really had a true test of the mileage in a full green flag run all evening.
That's fair.
So they are clutching as you would normally do under a caution flag, so they have picked up this skill set here. But my question will be, can I make it through all the potential GWCs depending on how many attempts we get here?
I believe 2 was the call. I'll double check the book in a second, but I believe to be 2 for the Grill Masters Average Joe Sim Racing League here. Nolan McClurg has went ahead and parked the car for the night, by the way. We'll update that story as we have a moment here. And yeah, so again, now it's going to be Murphy, Moore, Wright, Blevins, and Justin Day, your top 5 here, JP. And I know I would call out King Wright and beginning the broadcast as someone who I thought had the potential to get up front. He's shown those few moments here. Can he make it stick is the question. Can he get up front maybe first is the question. But at least he's found his way into the picture here.
So all this is now going to see Terrence Murphy can try and win things out up front after the incident earlier. A lot can shuffle over the course of a race, and we've seen so far tonight a lot of leaders, more than 10 in fact, have been up at the point here from Daytona. So the field will have the lights turn out this time. We are in green white checker territory. It is 2, as you did confirm. So if we get to the white flag, it's a race to the checker. Quite simply, if we get a caution flag for the white flag, we'll restack it for one more attempt. If we get a caution flag before the end of that said attempt, well, we finish under the yellow flag. If we get the white flag after that point, well, again, it's a race to the checker, quite simply. It's been a wild night here, Derek, and now it's about time to see who's going to be able to pick up a Grill Masters Average Joe's win here tonight.
Yep, Season 2 is kicked off in a very unique way here at Daytona, sort of what you expect a little bit from Daytona. Not what you hope for, but some big, massive wrecks here tonight. We're hoping for a good, clean 2-lap finish here, a great, exciting finish here, and boy, oh boy, I mean, Corey Moore's up top there, I believe. King Wright's back in the second, back in the bottom lane. Some big names still up here in this race here. Justin Day, Willie Smith, Jason Rushing. Michael Harrington's been very quiet. He's back in the 8 truck, back in P8. He could find his way up front. I mean, here's the fun of Daytona. This is why we all love this. Any car on the lead lap, that means, 22 of them are still eligible to win this race. I mean, we can call it certain names that we've seen up front all night long, but you and I both know that car in 22nd is just as likely to be up front at the end as anybody else.
So let's find out how this goes. It's Murphy and Moore. It's Kane, Ryan, and Blevins. It's Day and Smith, Harrington and Rushing, Sheen and McAllister are your top 10 for the restart. Pace car about to drop off. 2 laps to the side. How things go tonight here on Green Flag TV. Green flag, let's go. And the outside doesn't go. Inside pushes well. Akari Kane Wright stays attached to Terrence Murphy. Justin Day bogged down, battles for third.
Watch King Wright, I bet here on the back straight, if not sooner. If he gets any sense that Corey Moore is going to get a run, King Wright's going to quickly jump up and try to ride that momentum out of the corner here. It's going to happen, I bet. Right about here, I thought it would happen, but King Wright staying patient so far. There it is, last second, a little close, but King Wright tries to take the middle lane, and now they're 3 wide up front.
Oh, a wreck in the back of the
Austin
field.
Guerrero.
No caution yet. There it is. Guerrero slides into the racetrack. Brad Giamonzo's in it. And we're back under yellow with Corey Moore up front.
Ryan McClurg. Got to push up. I don't know if how they made contact, but it ended with Guerrero putting McClurg up in the wall. Guerrero bounced back, and he made contact with the blue truck there, and McClurg got hit again by the 62. And Ryan McClurg is not happy with Austin Guerrero. Watch this again. They're 3 wide. I don't think Austin Guerrero knew they were 3 wide, honestly. That slide right there is unique. The fact that you hit a car and bounced off and then did all that. That's the unique part I've never really seen at Daytona before, I feel like.
So the field's going to stack up yet again for another caution flag.
So this is the last attempt, by the way.
Yeah, so now how do you approach this? Because it's been chaotic to determine who's going to lead, and now the front lines are going to be shuffled different. What would you do?
You embrace the chaos. That's all you can do is embrace the chaos right now. You just, when the moment the green flag falls, you have to go because you never know. It's very unlikely, given our last 40 laps, this is going to go around twice. You have to embrace the chaos and get every piece of track space you can find and make any pass you can in anticipation of that caution coming. There's a car at King Wright. He's currently back in P3. I thought maybe he'd gotten to P2, but did not. Corey Moore and Terrence Murphy will be ahead. And King Wright said he was as surprised as anyone that did not go bad for him with that move. And there's Jason Rush. He's got the digital flag lights there on the bottom of his monitors. He sees the cautions out. Here's Kean Fry again. We're going to cycle through the webcams here real quick here as he comes down pit road. Likely needs a top off for fuel. And that's why I want to do it last time, because I don't want to have to top off and be at the back this time.
It's going to be quickly borderline for drivers like Murphy. You see right now some of the drivers having to save fuel on the bottom of the racetrack on the apron. Going to be a huge challenge as the 43 believes just got responsibility for the cause of caution. Yeah, so 43 has already been disqualified from the race, so it doesn't matter on that penalty, but
JP, I don't get it. I'm trying to be civil, and this has nothing to do with team loyalty. I just don't get it. I don't get how you get put up in the wall and you get the fault for the caution. What did we see something different? Am I missing the obvious? I don't know.
well,
Like, do you? I mean, if you think I'm wrong, JP, I loved that opinion. I'm just curious how you get put up on a wall, and you get deemed at fault for a wreck.
I am not sure either, but
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I could say is he's already out of the race for the DQ, but
Agreed.
It's the penalty points.
It's the escalating penalty points, right?
Right, exactly. So at this point, I'm very curious what that penalty total is going to be for the field by this point.
Yeah, a lot. It's going to be the penalty point. Well, I'll wait and see when that comes out in Discord post race. That'll be a wild number. Lights will go off this time in the pace car, and so Corey Moore has the best seat in the house. You have to think. I mean, again, with how many cautions we've had, you have to think that he's just going to stick up front and defend until the caution comes out again. That said, though, if you're Corey Moore, don't jump this too hard. If I was Corey Moore, JP, I know he gets to have control of the restart zone. I would go at the last possible second. If you get that big jump and this does stay green, you leave yourself open to the draft sort of sucking you in and passing you by. But this is going to be an interesting challenge for Corey Moore.
Moore has led 8 laps so far here. Can he lead the most important one? So once again, it's going to be Moore, Murphy, Day, Smith, Kane Wright, Blevins amongst the top 6. Harrington, Rushing, McAllister, Matthews. Got to be up front. We are down to about 21 trucks on the lead lap in this field.
Well, again, the anxiety is probably pretty high for most of these drivers inside the trucks because you're wanting to make every move possible right now, right? You want to win this race and you want to set yourself up, but you have to do it quickly because, again, the moment the next caution flies, if it flies on the first of these 2 laps, the field's frozen, the race is over, we're done. If we get to the white flag, as JP said earlier, we're going to race it out no matter what happens. But to pull my old Larry Mack, the trend says we're probably not getting the white flag.
So an error 2-lap dash, this one, the last attempt at a green-white checkered. A busy night. Looks to close up here. Let's see if they keep it clean. Pace car is off. Here we go. Restart zone. Does Murphy try and time it? No, but he gets a decent start. Inside line gets the better pull regardless. And the battle is on for the win.
Of all the restarts on the outside lane in the past, 20, 30 laps, JP, that one by the 5 up top is probably one of the better restarts on the outside. And they're going to get a nice run here out of 1 and 2. They're going to be almost side by side. They'll try and use a side draft. They're going to try and use the bumps from Justin Day and anything they can to make this work.
Oh, Kane Wright
block
tries to block.
by right.
3 wide. Terrence Murphy goes up to the point with the help of Justin Day. The run dies off though. The 12 of Kane Wright gets the better boost. Still side by side for the race lead.
That's the 3 on back. That's Willie Smith trying to push King Wright on around. They're now going to be side by side for second place coming to the line. I thought they wouldn't get here. They have. White flag. All bets are off. Let's see who wins in 2.5 miles.
Who gets the edge at the very end? Corey Moore getting a lot of pushes, but Stephen Blevins thinking of ditching him. Will ditch him. He pins him down. Now the 95 checks up. They wreck in front. A crash. Blevins up the track. Jason Rushing gets through to second. John Sheen is in third. Side by side for P2. Moore tries to block every line. They door for second. Now here comes a bigger run. 3 wide outside. Fred Chase jumps his way on the outside of the 95. Moore tries to pull him back. The side trap doesn't stick. They door for second. Fred Chase will take the start of the season with a run to victory lane. Fred Chase wins at Daytona.
Oh, Jason Rushing DQ'd at the line. That's going to be a judge call. I saw Jason Rushing at the top of the screen, maybe more at the line. We'll see if he crossed the line. That was the ruling last season, was if you cross the line, you may be good. Well, we'll get a confirmation on that. But Fred Chase went from deep in the field to winning in a lap, JP. Just rode the draft around the top.
Pure chaos at the end. Watch Fred Chase through all the chaos. Again, was boxed on the inside coming into 1, Derek.
Going to be right here in the bottom lane. He's going to have the 8 right up ahead. He's going to have Michael Harrington up there, one of the Trap House cars directly ahead. The wreck comes right about here. Fred Chase stays in it, stays in the bottom, gets around. That's a good avoidance. Just stayed in it, felt confident. It's going to move to the top. He's going to read the draft here. Watch him here on the bottom. Moves up top. There's Jason Rushing. Moves to the top of Rushing. Had a little bit of damage in the back end. Gets on around. Gets a push from the back in the 8. Michael Harrington, I do believe, in that Budweiser machine. And then pulls down. Sucks in the draft in the 95. And goes on around for the win here. He probably went from 8th to 1st in that white flag lap.
Started the lap on 10th, in fact, according to scoring.
Wow.
but it's Chase who is burning it down. An interesting end of the night, but the 94 is able to get through all the carnage to take home the first checker flag of the brand new season. Just letting this engine just rev away here. Let's take a look at the very unofficial race results here as he burns it on down. Fred Chase in the win, but we'll see how things get scored officially for second. Michael Harrington did get second in the sim with the DQ situation at the line. John Sheen in third, Cook and Petty unofficially the top 5. Chavez, Smith, Graves, Guerrero were up there. Justin Day fell to 10th on the final lap.
We move back into P11 here, and we're going to find Kean Fry back there, 4 seconds back with Tanner McAllister. Then Terrence Murphy into 5, Michael Weaver and Jonathan Dominic's P15. Then Blevins, Matthews, King Wright all the way back down to 18th after that wreck. Robert Sheen 19th, and Corey Moore back in P20.
21st goes away to Rushing. Revel ends up finishing 1 lap down also. Brad G 5 laps down with Ryan McClurg in 24th, Dan Adams and Noah McClurg. Then Kevin Burns, Douglas Ivy, Liam Ray, and Robert Tester are your top 30.
Yep, then 31st, Justin McCurdy, Blake Hewlett, Brian Day, Dallas Hall, Jonathan Day, and Brad Lawrence round out your 36 truck field.
So that's fun at the running order. This is where the DQ happened, right there with the contact. She goes poof. I believe the DQ was a few feet from the line. So we'll have to see where they actually do score him here officially by the end of the night. The rest of the field just crossed the line, really spread out, Derek.
I certainly did. Luckily for me, that's not our job to figure out. I don't know how they're going to figure out who officially finishes where. I know that right now it's very unofficial as far as our finishing results here for the evening. Let's see if we can find Fred Chase, if he's in the Discord, so we can get him available for a comment here.
I believe he is one of the Lake Effect drivers. Yes.
Let's go ahead and pull him on in here. Let's go ahead and welcome in here. And JP, I think you're going to catch up. Let's go ahead and welcome into the broadcast booth, Fred Chase.
Fred,
how you doing?
Doing good. How does it feel to be the first winner of the season?
It feels good to breathe again. I tell you, the last lap that's the longest I've ever held my breath.
Yeah, what was going through your mind as you seen the chaos erupt in 1 and 2 and then had to choose lanes through the back straight away?
Yeah, it was kind of hard all night long to choose the lane, to feel like what lane actually got going, because there for a while I thought the top was running pretty good, then the bottom would kick in. So I took my chance. We were on the bottom, and I felt good being on the bottom, because that way if we had the big wreck like we did, I had room to go to the bottom and have more room to avoid the wreck.
So with that being said, now that you started off the season with straight up momentum here, where do you look to take things forward when we go Speedway racing in Iowa next time?
I just hope to keep the momentum going and continue to run up front and have a good year.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my teammates, Average Joe Racing League. Enjoy racing here every week. Green Flag TV broadcast. And everybody that puts on this great show.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, and then congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fred Chase takes the checker flag, and a wild one tonight. Michael Harrington, unofficially second. The DQ situation at the line. Harrington is with Derek.
Well, Michael, we're going to do yet another interview. We did a few of these in the first season, but how does it feel to open season 2 with at least unofficially a P2 result here?
I'm thrilled, to be honest. I can't stand plate racing. It's tough. It's these things, it's like racing on interstate that's jam-packed. So I was just trying to avoid the wrecks, to be honest. I mean, it feels great to get what I got. I mean, I'll take it, to be honest. I'll take it.
It felt like towards the end you were just sort of kind of stuck to the back of Fred, and you were just going to kind of be committed to following him on through. Is that just a product of that wreck in the last lap, or was that just a plan all along, or what happened there?
I mean, with my teammate, John Sheen was on the bottom there. He kind of got boxed in, and then I had a run, and then Fred had more of a run. So when he jumped up on top, I knew that we had a better run. So I was to the point where I was like, okay, if I can push him for a while and then maybe get a draft off the lap car, I could try to maybe, finish at the line with him. But yeah, I was just content with trying not to wreck him and just get a good finish. That's all I was shooting for.
All right. Well, now you said you don't like plate racing, so good news. Your next few tracks, no, not plate racing. Next week we go to Iowa, less than a mile in length. Is that more your style?
Yeah, I love the 1.5 miles. The miles. Iowa's a blast. It's gonna be a fun one. These trucks should probably be a little loose, so kind of fits more of my driving style, like a looser race car. So definitely looking forward to Iowa.
Fair enough. It was a pleasure watching your race. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
Yes, I'm gonna shout out my wife for taking care of my kid. She came down and yelled at me for being too loud, so I shout out to her, and shout out to the Trap House team. We retired GCR after the championship last year, so we're looking to go back to back here.
Fair enough. Well, listen, Michael, congrats on the run, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so then we'll go from Michael Harrington to talking to one of his teammates. Let's welcome in the driver of the one truck, and John Sheen, unofficially P3. John, it looked chaotic from up here, well above the track. On the track, how chaotic was that last lap?
It was a little chaotic. I was happy to be on the bottom there in 1 and 2 when that wreck happened up top. And I wasn't lifting. I was just going to stay in it and try to drive under there. And luckily we got clear, and I don't know what happened. I think the 2 cars in front of me DQ'd for incident points.
Looks
coming
that
to the
way,
line. Yeah. So I was just giving it all she had to try to, I was planning on taking 4th or 5th right there, hoping for it, So 3rd, that's a good finish. I'm happy with that.
So it really felt like a tale of 2 races tonight. We started off with a couple of cautions, but a couple really good, clean runs up through about lap 35 or so, and then it just like all hell broke loose. What do you think changed? Was it just the mentality of the drivers? Was it the lack of patience? Was it the feeling of the laps counting down? What do you think changed in the second part of the race?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just people getting impatient and just trying to get every spot that they can. It's actually in these trucks. I don't know if it's a lack of power or what, but there's not a whole lot of passing going on. Everybody kind of just single files out, and not a whole lot you can do like to try to make runs and stuff like that unless you got multiple people to work with you. But you see people just hanging each other out every time you try to get a run, and then they just leave you out there. And yeah, I think it's just impatience and people just trying to get every spot they can.
Fair enough. Well, watching you run here, anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, I mean, all my people watching my Twitch channel, and all the guys on the Trap House Racing. Looking forward to another season. That's a good finish for us here. So shout out Justin Day for the paint job. He's doing an awesome job on the paint skins. So
awesome. Thank you so much, and pleasure watching your race. And we'll see you in 1 week at Iowa.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. That is John Sheen, JP, and that will wrap up our podium interviews for the evening.
An interesting night here from Daytona International Speedway tonight. Your final thoughts on this race for Average Joes?
Chaos, wild, calamity, wrecks, 3 wide, 4 wide, everything you could think of happened at once. And yeah, that's exactly what you expect out of Daytona.
Again, the next time out for this series, we head to Iowa Speedway. We'll see how things go on October the 9th, 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Start for our coverage once again here on Green Flag TV. Be sure to tune in for the Grill Masters Average Joe Sim Racing League then. But on that note, it's time to say goodbye. For Derek Watson, for Dustin Olis, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching tonight's coverage here on Green Flag TV from Daytona.